Hi there, boys, girls, and everybody outside and in between. Doing a movie review tonight. We are going to talk about Space Jam: A New Legacy. And I'm just going to get right to it. This movie is bad. It is, okay? It is. It's so obviously a commercial for WB. Like, you can tell they didn't really want to make a movie. They just wanted to make a ton of commercials and just put whatever story they can in front of it. Don't get me wrong, companies will include little Easter eggs or little references to other movies that they've made, and don't have a problem with that. That's fine. But this is just so in your face. It's so blatant. As I was watching it, it really didn't feel like anybody who was in it wanted to be in it. Like, no one in the movie really tried. So normally I would like to have, a beginning part of a review where it's completely spoiler free and I just give you my opinion, and then later on I'll talk about spoilers for those of you who have already seen it. In this one, I'm not going to do that because I so strongly recommend not seeing this. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. Just don't see it. This whole thing is going to have spoilers. So there's a scene in the beginning where LeBron James is sitting in a conference meeting with a couple of people from WB, and they're showing him this idea they have for this WB 3000, and it's going to be showing how they can include LeBron in other WB properties. They're like, this is what you would be like in Game of Thrones. This is what you'd be like in Harry Potter or in Batman. And they're showing him all these things, and LeBron says straight up, like, this is a bad idea. This is one of the stupidest, worst ideas I've ever heard. Top 5 worst ideas. And then the movie is that idea. It's showing LeBron in these other properties, essentially, and it's showing how correct he was for saying how bad this idea is. There's this weird self-fulfilling prophecy with how this movie plays out. I know. A lot of people are going to say, you know what, it's fine. This is a movie made for kids. It is what it is. It doesn't need to be great. And I have a couple of things to say to that. One, something being made for kids is not an excuse for that thing to be bad. Your audience does not justify your quality. Like, you know what was made for kids? Avatar: The Last Airbender. And that is excellent. To this day, still amazing. I know myself and a bunch of other people, when it recently got added to Netflix, watched the whole thing over again, and it is still amazing. So something being made for kids is not an excuse for that thing to have low quality. Something being made for kids can still be amazing. Kids can enjoy it, and adults can enjoy it, and it can still be a great thing, whatever it is. So don't try to justify something that's bad by just saying, oh, they were making it for kids. That doesn't justify not putting in any effort. And they did not put in any effort. So that was my first point to that. Secondly, is this made for kids? I'm really not sure it is. And I know, in kids' movies, a lot of the time, the filmmakers will sprinkle in little bits for adults, for the older people in the audience, so we can get enjoyment out of it too. They do that all the time. Not a problem. But it's over half of this movie is just references to things that are very, very much not for kids. Just trying to remember some of them that I can think of right now after seeing it. The Matrix, Game of Thrones, Mad Max, Fury Road, Rick and Morty, A Clockwork Orange, It, Star Trek, Training Day, The Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix one. So, things that are absolutely not made for kids dominate so much runtime of this movie. I am thoroughly convinced that this movie is made, if it's made for anybody other than just Warner Brothers wanting to advertise, if this movie is made for an audience, it's for people who are a little older, who feel nostalgic for the first Space Jam movie. And, you know, that came out in the 90s. 90s is prime time for nostalgia remakes right now. So I'm convinced that's why they made this. Not for kids, for people a little older, in their, you know, in their late 20s, 30s, early 40s, people who are feeling nostalgic for the first Space Jam movie and also have kids. It's not made for their kids, it's made for them, and it's just assuming that they have kids. So they'll go and spend their money, and they're thinking, yeah, it's going to be a good time. I get to, you know, re-experience some joy from my childhood, and my child also gets to experience this thing that I love, and that's just not what it is. Also, a few of those things that I mentioned, like The Matrix and Mad Max and a couple others, they just straight up take footage from those movies, like exactly frame for frame. It is that movie, and they'll throw some animation on top of it so you can see characters in there, and they'll just say that that's part of this movie now. And that is just so lazy. And that just speaks more to the quality and to the effort that was put into making this. It's just such a low quality film that no one cared about. It's just WB wanting to make money, and that's all that it is. I don't see anybody seeing this a second time. They've already suffered through it once. It's a 2-hour-long commercial. Like the first 10-15 minutes is a commercial for Lebron James himself, and the rest of it is all just a commercial for Warner Brothers. It's just so lazy. The quality is so low, and it being made for kids, even if it is not an excuse. So for me, Space Jam New Legacy gets a 2 out of 10. I strongly recommend you don't waste your time, don't waste your money, do not see this movie. It is not worth it at all. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of it if you've seen it already. If you like this review, please like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.